Welcome to Rank Rhino, where you can learn it all. Today, we'll be going through our picks for the most underrated games of the 21st century. In this list, we're taking a look at games that are objectively awesome to play but never got the recognition we think they deserve. Number 10. Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Don't move.
Some people might be questioning why we're starting our list with a popular franchise, but let me explain. Shadow of the Tomb Raider brings an end to the iconic Survivor is Born trilogy, but it was also released together with Spider-Man and Red Dead Redemption 2. Dropping together with these ultra-hyped games stunted a lot of the hype the game actually deserved. Shadow of the Tomb Raider brought a much darker, more violent conclusion to Lara's story. The game features fantastic combat, a deeper dive into Lara's past, epic tomb explosions, and an open world that gave fans a lot of room to explore and find secrets. Shadow of the Tomb Raider had all the familiar stealth and combat mechanics of the previous series, and while it didn't reinvent the wheel, it certainly gave players all the required tools for a fun experience. Number 9. Middle-earth: Shadow of War.
Wraith!
Where are you?
Middle-earth: Shadow of War is a game based in the Lord of the Rings universe. Back when it released in 2014, it was lauded for its amazing open-world gameplay, which gave players the opportunity to forge their own paths while playing. The game was also heavily criticized for its in-game microtransactions, which is one of the main reasons it never got the attention it deserved.
Gather your troops.
Will do. Oh, just make sure you let me pop his heads off, won't ya?
Shadow of War features a ton of fun fighting mechanics, enemies are incredibly detailed, and there's a ton of awesome story in which you can immerse yourself. The game also allows NPCs to join your fights and assist you while fighting the orcs. The game's Nemesis system lets you gain followers, with their behavior depending on how you interact with them. Middle-earth: Shadow of War also features a cool leveling system. You can kill higher level enemies to work up the ranks quicker, and if you die from lower ranked ones, they level up and become more dangerous. Number 8. Titanfall 2.
I hope I can live up to the honor.
Titanfall 2 is another fantastic game that fell under the radar for the majority of gamers due to its release date. It dropped right between Call of Duty and Battlefront releasing, which resulted in this amazing FPS game being ignored. Titanfall 2's campaign is one of the best ones ever seen in FPS games, but the real jewel in its crown is the multiplayer. The game features incredibly fun and engaging multiplayer gameplay, with there being many different titans that bring a lot of variety to combat encounters. Additionally, all of Titanfall 2's DLC content is free, excluding cosmetics. Thanks to this, players find themselves with a ton of content to play through. Number 7. Metro Last Light.
And if you have second thoughts, don't worry, I'll do it.
Metro Last Light never got much attention, even though the game was exceptional for its time and it still holds up 9 years later. Metro is set in a post-apocalyptic Soviet world with many players praising it for its realistic theme. While playing, you needed to wipe dirt and blood off your gas mask, navigate through eerie underground paths, and deal with horrific scenarios. Metro Last Light's game design is also fantastic, with the game's physics and mechanics being impeccable. The game also doesn't feature your ammo status, with you instead needing to listen for audio and visual cues for when to reload. Additionally, Metro's karma feature determines how your game will end, depending on the choices you make while playing. All of this makes Metro Last Light a realistic, immersive, and terrifying experience. Number 6. Sunset Overdrive.
Did you douse the sword?
In blood? Also in water.
Okay, so next is sharpening, fitting a hilt, maybe.
Probably one of the most unknown picks in our list, Sunset Overdrive is one of the most engaging and fun games of the previous console generation. The game blends goofy third-person action, slick traversal mechanics, and irreverent humor that often breaks the fourth wall. You play in a futuristic open-world city setting with the main goal being to clear the city from a raid of mutant creatures by using a mix of crazy weapons and skills.
4 weeks, but tonight is all about you, Sunset City!
Sunset Overdrive allows you to wall run, grind rails, and use zip lines to move through the city. The game encourages you to commit to a fast-paced playstyle, and you get rewarded for taking enemies down in quick succession. It's also not an overly challenging game, instead focusing on the idea that sometimes you just want to feel cool and powerful. Number 5. Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Sector is clear. Not clear! Not clear!
Star Wars Battlefront 2 had a ton of controversy surrounding its release due to its lack of content and in-your-face microtransaction system. After years of free updates and content releases, the game had a massive redemption arc, turning into a fantastic shooter that pleases both Star Wars fans and FPS fans.
We're coming up on the Star Destroyer, but we need to clear that escort. Let's give him everything.
The game features lots of fun maps to play, the combat system is fantastic, and the storytelling element got progressively better as it got content updates. Battlefront 2's multiplayer is also revered by shooter fans thanks to its rewarding mechanics. Not to mention, nothing in other games can come close to the amazing feeling of descending into battle while wielding Luke Skywalker's iconic lightsaber. Number 4. Until Dawn. Horror games were one of the most popular genres during the mid-2010s, with many titles receiving plaudits from critics and players alike. Until Dawn is one of those games, it being one of the most unique titles released during this period. The game is an interactive drama with you following a group of young adults staying in a lodge in the mountain. And like with any cabin in the woods story, something then goes wrong.
Sam, run. Run!
Until Dawn gives players a ton of control to reach the outcome they desire. Whenever you select an action, the game shows players visions that tell them what could happen as a consequence of a potential selection. The game also does not allow you to reload previous save files, so once you make a decision, you need to stick to it until the end or start over from the beginning.
There is still no sign of any survivors.
Number 3. Psychonauts.
Raz. You're late, soldier. Now get in here and give me...
Psychonauts is a game based on an abandoned concept that its director toyed with back in 1995. The game's story revolves around its main protagonist, Raz, who's a young boy with psychic powers. After Raz tries to sneak into a camp one night, he learns that a mysterious figure is stealing psychic children in order to use their brains for evil.
I warn you. Once you do, the war is on.
Psychonauts will immerse you in a world with a variety of different characters, each with their own demons that Raz needs to help with. It's one of the most creative titles released and holds up over 15 years later. Despite getting positive reviews from critics, the game never got a ton of attention from players when it's first released. It has gotten a slight cult following over the years, but it's still one of the most overlooked titles on our list. Number 2. Bioshock 2. Everyone knows about the Bioshock series, with the original being regarded as one of the best games ever released. Its sequel, Bioshock 2, often tends to be overlooked by most gamers even though it's just as good as the original. Some people even think it's better. In Bioshock 2, you play as a Big Daddy tasked to investigate the disappearance of little girls along the Atlantic coastline. While solving the mystery, you realize that all the answers are tied to the Rapture.
This is not your daughter. Do you understand?
Bioshock 2's gameplay improves upon the original games, the story is just as good, and it features the best setting in the series. Many people criticize the game for being a slow starter when it first released, but after the first few hours, the game turns into a true masterpiece. Bioshock 2 also features the Minerva's Den DLC, which many Bioshock fans consider one of the best pieces of DLC ever released. Number 1. Mirror's Edge.
Don't get lost.
Mirror's Edge might just be one of the most overlooked titles of all time. The game is set in a futuristic city in which runners parkour around the environment with the goal of delivering messages to underground organizations while simultaneously trying to avoid the government.
Almost there.
Well, anytime you'd like to tell me where there is and what the hell you're doing.
You play as a character called Fate, who is in the run after getting accused of a crime she never committed. The game isn't long, but every minute of playtime is full of action and intensity, the parkour is extremely fun, and the futuristic city is gorgeous. You're constantly avoiding the government while running, with soldiers trying to shoot you down and helicopters following you. Although Mirror's Edge was released in 2008, no game has ever managed to replicate its unique gameplay. Okay, thank you for watching guys. What's your favorite underrated game ever? Let us know in the comments and don't forget to like the video and subscribe.